nonprofit of taking landlords back to court twice. So they just did away with the law. The law also is written to where plaintiffs and plaintiffs only get to decide if the case is heard on the record. So now in landlord-tenant action, the courts don't even record the cases anymore. Let that sink in. How does a tenant file an appeal? They can't. There's no transcript. So it's completely illegal.
Thank you, Sister Raina, for sharing that information with us. Those that are in the beautiful state of Missouri, we've got some fighting to do. So there you have it, House Bill 1410. It can be repealed. You can ask for that to revote on that so that we could address these landlord-tenant issues. Brother Warren, you are on the line, brother. Questions, comments? Give it to us, brother.
All right. Thank you, Kingya, for having me on, inviting me on this call. Ms. Johnson, are you there?
She's still here. Ms. Johnson? Ms. Johnson?
Yes, can you hear me?
Phone line is open. Go ahead. We hear you now. Go ahead, sister.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Warren. Warren's got a question for you. Or something, comment.
Just first to explain who I am, my name is Warren Houston. I'm the creator and organizer of the People's Law Study Group here in Houston, Texas. And so I've been sitting back listening, and your situation will require probably more time off the air, but I do have a few questions. When did this incident first occur?
Well, it's been an ongoing situation. When they first closed the road, barricaded it, it had to be around 2003, and we've been in court for the last 13 years. But nothing is given to us in court. And then it was turned over. Well, I was referred to the fair housing. So we haven't been in court for the last 2 years, I think, because I've been waiting for fair housing. But fair housing has since just disappeared.
Okay. Who did you sue in court?
We sued the city of Satsuma and Maurice Kirk Harless. Mm-hmm. And he is the land developer who is it.
What was the cause of action?
We had several causes of action. Let me pull one up for you. Let me pull up a brief. One was a violation of our rights. I need to read you. I don't want to get anything wrong. And I'm right here on my computer, so I can just open it up for you. Okay. Give just one moment. We had a gentleman from here. His name was John Baptiste Secamati. Mm-hmm. And he just sold us down the river. Fourth Amendment right violation. The equal protection of the law, denial and interference of equal protection of the law, pursuant to 42, 1981, 42, 1983.
42, wait. You're quoting 42, 1981, 93. You're quoting to me federal law?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, is this in the state court?
No, this particular one, the last one was in federal court. Because the attorney, Mr. Secamati, he filed one, but it wasn't done correctly. So when I went online and saw a sample of what he had done, it wasn't even complete. But it initially started in state court when they sued. Well, court one, where they were suing to quiet the title to the property, which they had never been in possession of, right? And my family had always been there. My mother had Alzheimer's at the time. They did a deposition prior to court, knew that she had Alzheimer's. So when we went to court, we were trusting the court to do the court's job. And they separated us from her, which I know they can do that. She was in court completely confused and lost, and we have a copy of the deposition. My brother ordered that. And she kept saying that she know that she was a good 20-something, but at that time she was 70-odd. The doctors had told us to keep her environment the same, but since they had her to come to court, we took her. And all the family came in from all over, and we were there. And she was cognizant enough to say she's not claiming title to anyone's property. The property she's owned is her husband's family's property, because it's heir property through my father's lineage and not her lineage. So she was cognizant enough. She kept saying it throughout the transcript, it's my husband's family's property. It was noted that she had Alzheimer's and that her children were taking care of her affairs. So we tried to keep everything the same for her. At some point, they dismissed the jury. They went to lunch, and when the judge said this judgment is against this little lady only, this little lady, talking about our mother, and dismissed the jury and gave the major portion of our property to these people. And it was after they got that judgment that they started the constitutional violation of our rights, separating us from the larger community, treating us differently, closing the road to the front of the house. And the police report said it was to be closed temporarily, but it has not. In fact, they've completely blocked it off. And there was a motion for them to open the road back up before it was completely barricaded. My mother has since passed away, of course. And we've been fighting them in court. We met this lawyer here in Houston, because I live here in Houston, Sekamai. And he said, well, we needed to file a Section 1983. We need to file it in federal court. He said, because the police cannot come onto your property and tell you what to do, and that will put us into federal court. And then he strung us along. We kept saying, when are you going to file it? When are you going to file it? So we were paying for him to fly him to Mobile, get him a rent-a-car, hotel, the whole 9 yards. And he strung us along, and it was continued. And we went through all of that, trusting that he was doing the right thing. So we finally got in court, and that's when he wanted me to sign over my rights to the people who were trying to take the property. And then they came in. I don't think you heard the first part of the story of the situation, the dilemma, the travesty. It came in and did several things to barricade the front of the property. And I have a deceased sister. My younger sister, who is now deceased, was living on the property at that time. And they put a truck across the road. It was one way in, the ingress and egress, same road. So she called the police, and she called us because, the other siblings, we were away from home. And we all called the city of Satsuma and said, you can't do this. And they had the people, the land developers, to move the truck. And then they came back and they put stakes, the one where you string up a fence. They put those bars in the road. And still she couldn't get in. Plus she had a bad heart. They couldn't get in or out. They came and put a pile of dirt in the road.
Okay, let me say this, Ms. Johnson, again. I want to also respect the listeners who've been on about 2 hours, because I know that this is something that I can solve in just a few minutes. But I'm here in Houston, Texas as well.
Yes.
And my office is off of 610 and TC Jester, if you're familiar with that area.
I hear. I live in Cypress.
I can give you my number.
Okay.
And if you want to sit down and talk about it, we can talk about it and go from there. Okay,
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
You can reach me at 346 217 0595.
0595.
Yes, that's Warren Houston. Just
Warren
like
Houston.
the city.
Yeah. I've heard that name before.
You may have.
Okay, would certainly like to meet with you. My brother is out of town right now, and I would like for him to meet with us, if that's okay with you. That's
perfectly fine with me.
Okay, so I'll get in touch with you one day next week, and we'll set up a time to meet. And anyway, we'll set up a time to meet.
Thank you, Warren. I appreciate that, my brother.
All right. May I be heard?
All right. Yes, go ahead, Mama AZ.
Thank you. And Sister Shirley, thank you so much for being in a position. Yes, Professor, this is me. Do you know you were on my brain when this brother reached out to me today, and I figured out or what the issue was on this show, on this podcast, and no sooner than I said, you got to reach out to Professor. By the way, listening audience, I call Brother Warren Houston Professor of Law. Okay. Now, anyway, no sooner than my brain said that, I'd be darned if you didn't make yourself known, Professor, that you were on the line. So I won't take up time. Metaphysically, this is deep. And for the sister who's over there, I call it Rolla, Missouri. For those who may not be aware, Rolla, Missouri is right on the line of the Trail of Tears. Wow. That particular area goes way back with me because there was at one time a Baha'i institute or Baha'i school right on that line in Rolla, Missouri. So, sister, I will be reaching out to you from Rolla. You have really gave me confirmation, my brother, the host, that my sister Shirley from the other side and the other ancestors from Oklahoma and Missouri are coming to me in my dreams, and I said, look, if you want me to know that I'm not crazy or losing my mind, you give me a confirmation. And my brother, you sent me the link to your show. And if that's not a confirmation through a bullhorn, Mama AZ ain't talking to you over the phone line. Thank us. Oh.
Well, man, it's just good to hear. I haven't heard, I'm sorry, Kingya, but I just had to make a quick statement. It's good to hear Mama AZ's voice. I hadn't heard her in a while. She has been a avid supporter of me and my work, and I really appreciate her. I really do.
I appreciate you more, babies. I do, brothers. I mean, you know.
It's okay. I know, Mama.
Thank us. I'm going to mute.
You're fine, Mama AZ. I appreciate your love, your tenacity, and your drive, definitely. I have my mom on the phone. Let's see if she wants to chime in. Mom, are you there? Teresa? Question or comment? Yeah, I know. I'm calling you out. Your phone line is open. Okay. My dad's probably on the line as well. Dad, I'm calling you out. Any questions or comments? All right. Well, guys, so we have reached a point of the end of our show. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate that. I love the support that we have on our show, and I look forward to having you guys on another show. We're going to take a break, and that will conclude our show for the evening. I want to say
thank you so much. And after I meet with Mr. Warren Houston, I'm going to get back in touch with you.
Absolutely. I would hope so. So you guys stay tuned and listen to our closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I can reach one person through an inspiring message, I'll say if you want success, pursue your dreams without permission. If they say you can't, you can. You captain your ship, your fate. If they say you won't, you will. You master your spirit, your life's purpose. If they say you are not, I am. You are the boss and master of your goals, your destiny. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, Kingya2020. My podcasts are also available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, TuneIn, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Just look for Kingya. If you have any thoughts, suggestions, or constructive criticism regarding our podcast, please email your concerns to us. Thank you.